Hello there everybody, so Bunny Knight's Dragon Nightmare, and let's just see what the fuck's gonna happen now. I finally reached the end of the river. Oddly enough, the water itself stopped here, forming a small lake. The ever-running water never seemed to overflow, probably vanishing from the bottom of the lake somehow. The smell of death tingled my nostrils. I could see countless bodies littering the road. I imagined they all died fighting. Some had their heads missing, some were split in half. All of them, however, were positively scorched at the area around their wounds. Was Lilith using fire magic? No? Yes, kind of? Nah, that probably wasn't the case. She would have to use fire at the very same instant her sword slit her opponents to leave burn marks on the inside of the wounds like that. My best guess was that she used a burning sword. The bodies were still warm. In other words, she was close. I let out a sigh of relief. Praying that my guess wasn't wrong, I proceeded onwards with hope leading my step. Well, get ready for despair. The surrounding land was the color of dull crimson, both the ground and the cliffs surrounding me. Everything else was shrouded in darkness. I guessed one should have expected the deepest layer of hell to feel like a dark cellar. Each of the breaths I exhaled turned to white mist and vanished. I suddenly spotted black ash raining down from above, dancing in the air like snow. The beauty of the display was straight from a nightmare. I pressed onwards, step by step. Suddenly, a bad premonition pierced my chest. Was I too late? Probably. The freezing air, the freezing space. I couldn't feel the heat of battle from anywhere in this gloomy place, and I couldn't quite imagine the two agreeing to a peaceful resolution. Could everything have already concluded? And in the end, my bad premonition hit the bullseye as always.
素敵だと思わない？ねえ。刹那。
Was the Lilith on the throne the one I knew, or?
どうしたの？刹那。
どうしたのはこちらのセリフだ。
She smiled and raised a lock of her hair with her fingers.
ああ、これ？染めた。って言ったら怒る？
別に似合ってる。
She let out a hearty chuckle at my answer. A truly jovial laugh from the very bottom of her heart.
ありがとう。刹那、ここに来るまでにリリスたちと会ったでしょ？
I nodded, to which she made a very curious face.
どのリリスが一番好き？
どのリリスと言っても
病弱なリーダー格、もっと幼い容姿の私。それとも
Neither.
なら君だ。
She made a satisfied nod. I wonder what would have happened if I told her the little Lilith was my favorite.
殴ってたわ。
I wished for some privacy, at least inside of my heart.
なあ、リリス。
My vague question had more implications than I could bother to count.
どうした？どうした？この玉座に座って笑いながらあなたを眺めている以上、立ち位置は明瞭でしょ？
I gulped, though that was far from enough to alleviate my tension. I made a stern face.
敵になったと言いたいわけか。
She smiled, matching the smile of the Lilith I knew.
そう、その通り。刹那にとっての問題は私が何かということよね。例えば体を乗っ取られただけなら
She clapped her hands.
殺せば済むことでしょ。刹那は私を心の中で思いながら生きていく的な。悲しいけれど力強く生きていきましょうというオチで。
Yeah, but then that would be incredibly depressing in this game. This story has had a habit of basically... It's like it's against my personality. Every answer I think is correct is always ending up leading to a bad end.
それが妥当な線だろうな。
では例えば操られていただけだとしたら、哀れなリリスは世界を支配しようと企む悪魔に操られ手先となっているのでした。
I don't know.
最後はもちろん愛の力で私は自分を取り戻すのよ。愛の力ある？
It literally feels like you're insulting me.
おいほら黙るの黙るの。
おそらくあるんじゃないだろうか。僕
ありがとう。
She looked away from me, embarrassed. Everything from her voice to her mannerisms was like the Lilith I knew. Yet for some inexplicable reason, all the cells in my body screamed that an enemy now stood in front of my eyes.
でもまあ世の中そうそううまくはできてないわね。見ての通り、聞いての通り、そして感じている通り。
Indeed, she was Lilith through and through, and yet...
ところが、刹那にとっては残念なことに、私は彼女が抱えた像を活用したいと思っている。
She made a smile. My bad premonition finally began taking shape. Lilith was Lilith. But at the same time, something cardinal had changed inside her. Who was she referring to? Hers?
そう。私は世界を滅ぼすわ。何もかもを叩き潰し、そして自分も滅ぶ。
Okay. She made the dreadful declaration with an affectionate smile. Silence took over the surrounding air. Under the falling snowflakes of black snow, she made a clear declaration of war to the world.
ふざけていると一言言ってくれればいいのだが。
そうね。私ならばそう言えばそれで終わりよね。日常と言えるほどの穏やかな日々を刹那とはまだほとんど味わったことがないけれど。
それはこれからの話だ。
これからの話だったわ。その機会は永遠に失われてしまった。それは残念。本当に残念よ。でも仕方ない。仕方ないの。なぜなら私は敵だから。神の敵、人類の敵、天使と悪魔の敵、そしてあなたの敵だから。
戻れないのか。
She gently smiles before waving my question off.
戻らないのよ。
Such was her answer. She chose this path of her own free will.
さあ、刹那。お互いの立ち位置は明瞭になったわね。私とあなたは明確に向かい合っている。かつては味方。今はあなたの敵。
Indeed, we had to fight. One of us had to die.
でなければ私があなたを撃ち滅ぼす。簡単なことなのよ。今の私には。
Yeah. I could tell she was serious from her ice-cold face. Ready your sword, Tendao Setsuna. I had no idea how strong she supposedly was, but I hardly had an alternative right now. Well, not to mention you don't even know what your race on Dare is. To battle. You came here to save the world, didn't you? Battle cries refused to leave my lips. I felt the corners of my eyes grow hot. Terror and despair intermingled in my heart, shackling both my arms and feet.
戦えないの？
ああ、そうだ。僕は君と戦えない。
I couldn't fight her. I just couldn't fight her.
私のことを好きだから？
多分。
そう。私だって刹那のことはまあ好きよ。でもそれとこれとは話が別。それがわからないの。
She kept a most serene countenance to the very end. I didn't hesitate and shook my head, exclaiming I indeed couldn't.
戦いたくない。君と戦いたくないんだ。
I couldn't take a single step towards her, much less dash or swing my sword.
そうなら仕方ないわね。
Yes, indeed, that was that. She extended her hand and pointed a finger at me. It looked like she had formed a pistol with her fingers.
Bam!
An odd sensation suddenly ran along my left arm. I tried to move, but it seemed completely paralyzed. I glanced at it and realized what was up right away. My left arm was missing. It was ripped out of its socket before I knew it. Damn! I grimaced at the pain, but somehow managed to fight the instinct to fall to my knees.
あら、叫ばないのね。感心感心。でも痛い時には泣き叫んだ方がいいわよ。
So can running away from the pain too, but...
君の前で泣きたくないからな。
恥ずかしいこと言うわね。嬉しいけど、それでも私はあなたを殺すわ。
I didn't want to die, but killing her was out of the question. All she had to say was one word. All she had to do was ask, and I would have betrayed the world for her sake. If only she said that it was all right for me to be at her side.
次は右足をいただくわ。
She smiled, and my right leg tore away from its socket. With nothing to support me anymore, I fell to the ground like a sack of potatoes. The black snow continued to fall. I was sad. I was just sad. I didn't mind turning a traitor. Or rather, I wished to turn into one from the bottom of my heart right now. I didn't mind betraying the world as long as I could be by her side. A hint of gloom crept into Lilith's eyes.
そうね。そしたらどんなに楽でしょうね。でもそれはダメよ。死ぬより悪いことなんか世界にはいくらもないけれど、それは死ぬより悪いこと。
God damn it, she wouldn't even allow me to turncoat. My heart gave up before my body did. I lost any will to survive, and so let my raison d'are slip past my fingers back to the nether.
僕は君のために生きたかったよ。君のためだけに戦って死にたかった。
I felt lonesome. Despair coiled around and strangled my soul. I wished to cry. I wished to forget everything in tears. But the cruel reality went on, ignorant of my pleas.
謝らないわよ、私は。だって今から世界を滅ぼさなきゃならないもの。
I figured as much. She pointed her finger at my heart this time.
刹那、あなたを殺すことで殲滅戦争の始まりとするわ。
本気で何もかもを滅ぼすつもりか。
そう、天使も悪魔も人間も、そして神も、クグツソラミもラジエルも。ああ、わずかに戦意を取り戻したわね。やっぱり二人は刹那にとって特別なのかしら。
I couldn't deny that. Raziel guided the clueless fool that I was the same as Lilith did. Sorry was the first human I managed to
こ
save.
の二人と私を天秤に乗せて、それでも私を選ぶというの。
I grinded my teeth. No question could be more tormenting than that. Would I still choose her after she maimed me like this? Wow! Holy shit! Okay. Okay. Let's choose the obvious bad end, I guess. Those two were precious to me. I love them from the bottom of my heart. Yes, I didn't hesitate doing that. Still, nonetheless. It was Lilith's hand that I...
ダメよ、刹那。あれあれ。愛されすぎるってのも考えものね。
Obvious incoming bad end? She raised her hand pistol. I gave up on
悪
everything.
いんだけど、死になさい。天道刹那。
Called it! A sound reverberated inside my skull. My body jerked from shock. The scariest part? I felt no pain at all. I just comprehended that I'd just something vital. Don't you mean I just lost something vital? Apparently, I lost my speech function with the blast. I couldn't scream or wail. All I could do was flail my arm in the air with no idea what was going
天
on.
国か地獄があれば、いつか再会できるでしょうけれど。ここでお別れよ。永遠のね。
Yeah,
さ
I
よ
ca-
なら刹那。
I figured this would happen. She made a lonesome, sorrowful face, but I could not glimpse in it a single hint of regret. There was no way I could survive having lost my heart, and so I'd die here in mere moments. I would be killed. Killed by her. The obvious fact hit me like a whip. My four senses other than sight had stopped functioning almost immediately, and even my vision had already grown faint and hazy. Only my mind still seemed to work at full throttle. I wondered if Lilith was going to go on and destroy the world as she said. There was probably no one left here to stop her anymore. Astaroth, Adam, Eve, Belial, Camiel, Raziel, Sormi, neither stood a chance against her. Everyone would die and return to dust. No words I could come up with would be good enough to apologize to them all. Should I have chosen to fight and sworn to defeat her instead? A little bit too late to change my mind at this point, though. There was only one part I still did not yet understand. The identity of that hers Lilith had mentioned. My thoughts gave way to white noise. Apparently my time had run out. I spent the last few seconds of my life absent-mindedly thinking about Lilith. The few days I had the chance to spend with her were so fun. She taught me how interesting life could be.
そうか。
I would have never understood the concept of fun without her, a notion even Naru failed to teach me. I wish I could have had the time to express my thanks to her. The sound of something breaking apart, something in the deepest layer of my heart. My body had already been deprived of all physical functions. Hence it must have been a spiritual concept that was about to shatter there. A broken oath, a forgotten promise, a path lost in the darkness. The cracks multiplied, the destruction of my will accelerating with them. The thing in my heart shattered, dispersing in the wind like flower petals.
死ぬ瞬間くらい恐怖に怯えたかったが
Unfortunately, my mind remained composed. I'd die and there was nothing I could do about it. Well,
生きてる
whose voice was that?
ねえ死んでる
Lilith? Oh, wait, that's Samael, sorry. I'm an idiot. I opened my eyes at the voice that couldn't possibly be here, at the words I no longer had ears to possibly comprehend. The situation made no sense.
ケルベロスおう友よ刹那から離れろイリスあらまあ
Lilith took a step back with a chuckle.
お兄さん
I realized it had almost been too late as I glanced at Samael's face.
助けに来たのだとしたら少し遅かったわね
Oh shit, didn't see this coming.
ケルベロスお兄さんを飲み込んではいわかったすまん刹那少しじっとしていろ
Cerberus swallowed 10,000 cents in his body in a single gulp.
ちょっと食べてどうするのよ食べて救出に来たんでしょうに救出に来たのよああそういうことケルベロスが時間停止の道具でも飲み込んだのねその通り
Oh, smart. It seemed like a futile plan at first, but with the help of a certain angel and a human they met on the way, the two managed to swipe a relic that could freeze time in a localized area from Astaroth's hands. Even if he, or his most trusted aide, Lucifuge, noticed anything, they seemed to let them get away with it unhindered. All that mattered now was saving the young man.
まあそれなら死んでない限りは死なないか死んでない限り
She chuckled to herself. And who could blame her for taking them lightly? This was no rescue, no healing squad. They just delayed the inevitable. The man would die the very moment he left Cerberus's jaw. There was no meaning in what the two had done. Unless you counted self-gratification, that is. Lilith realized the cruel fact right away. Meanwhile, Samael, who had been now exposed to her condescending smile, took a few steps back with her giant scythe in hand, glaring at Lilith with almost palpable intent to kill.
参ったわね見逃すのはどうにも我慢ならないわ刹那以外の全存在は特にね
Well, shit, I was expecting another bad end, but... Or maybe I did end up with another bad end because I chose Lilith over Sormi and... She smiled and glared back at Samael with a killing intent of such ferocity that it almost seemed to summon a visible barrier around the two. An average being would have choked on the tension then and there. Nor was she conscious of this fact. She thought she acted normal, like always. However, she had turned into a beast whose very presence was already a lethal poison to everyone around it. Astonished by the newfound truth, Samael considered Lilith again.
リリス一体何があったの
She shrugged.
さてね私は私でもまあリリスとは微妙に異なる存在になったというのも間違いじゃない
Indeed, her nonchalant manner of speech seemed like that of Pandora's Lilith. At least, she checked out with everything with that Tendo Setsuna, told Samael. But then, what in the hell was going on there?
強大な力を手に入れていい気になってる的な
Yeah. Lilith let out a hearty laugh.
そうそういい気になってる的なやつよそして悲しいことに今の私はあなたたち全員と敵対する腹積もりよ
With that, she made a pistol out of her hand again.
何よそれ世界でも滅ぼすつもり
Yeah, kinda.
その通り滅ぼすわとことんまでね
That's some serious hate there, buddy. A beaming smile. Samael couldn't help gulping from the tension.
というわけでサマエルケルベロス死になさい
She pointed her hand pistol at Samael.
なめるな幻影風情がパン
All Lilith did was make an exclamation of a shot. That was all she did, and yet Samael's stomach got torn to shreds. Unable to stand, she crumpled down to the ground. Shit. Her hands clutching onto her stomach, Samael trembled in pain. Her insides vanished in the blink of an eye as if ripped away by an invisible beast. Those beyond human didn't really have vital organs, but it didn't mean that they didn't need them at all. Samael concentrated her magic on her stomach area, trying to regenerate it.
逃がさないわよサマエルさあいつもみたいに走り回って逃げなさいなもしくは命乞いでもする
For starters, she fixed the surface wound, but her insides were still a mess. It wasn't that easy to conjure back missing organs. Restraining her fear to mere panic, Samael slowly stood up.
ケルベルスセツナを連れて行って私たちじゃ絶対に勝てない
She readied her scythe again. Cerberus let out a collective howl from all three of his heads.
しかしサマエルそれではおぬ
Her back to Cerberus, Samael erupted in a blaze of passion.
行け早く行っちまえ
Cerberus didn't waste time anymore idle thought. Cerberus didn't waste time on any more idle thought. There we go. He turned on his heels, leapt into the air, and dashed towards the darkness. Not turning back, leaving no words behind, just like Samael wished of him. She evened her breathing. Even that required incredible will and strength to achieve at this point. Her animosity towards her foe had long been outstripped by the incredible pain and blood-chilling terror.
あらら行っちゃったわね残されたのはあなただけかまあ追いつこうと思えば追いつけるけれどここは一つあなたの心意気を汲んであげましょうあなたを倒してケルベロスを仕留めるわ倒せたらねあらまさか倒せないとでも思ってるの
Stone cold laugh, stone cold eyes, both of them filled Samael's heart with despair. She couldn't breathe. Disgusting sweat covered her back.
死ぬのが怖いって顔をしてるわねどうせ復活するのでしょそうよ
She lied. Even talking with Lilith had been a terrifying exercise at this point, but at least it was nowhere near as bad as fighting her. The air around Lilith was so tense that she thought she might go mad if she didn't keep her mind busy with digressions.
あもう復活できないのかしらあるいは次に蘇った時は大事なものを失ってしまうとか
Samael cursed herself for being so easy to read. The terror seemed to seize her throat at this point. Could the bitch before her see how bad she was shivering? Of course she could.
そんなに怖いなら一瞬で終わらせてあげましょうか一矢報いるなんて夢物語よ少なくとも今のあなたでは黙れせめて本来のサマエルであれば少しは歯ごたえがあるでしょうにコピーは悲しいわねまあお互い様でしょうけど
She made a self-deprecating smile. The undulated rage instilled by those words in Samael's heart momentarily won against the sense of blood-chilling terror and despair. She parted her lips. Her words escaped her mouth almost by themselves mechanically.
違うよリリスそれは違うあらどうして確かに本来のサマエルであれば今のリリスにでも歯向かえるだろうねでも本来のサマエルであればそもそもここにいない
She transformed her rage into iron will. She forgot pain. The sensation of emptiness in her stomach no longer bothered her.
そうだってお兄さんのそばにいようと決めたのは他でもない私なんだそれだけは他の誰にも譲れないんだから
She stopped shivering before she realized it. The pain no longer bothered her. Proving that it was her and no one else's will to be here was more important than anything in this world to the current Samael.
いたぶるのが目的なら好きにしてよ。それで1分1秒でも稼げるならそれでいい。
Samael's fervor already exceeded the scope of the word sacrifice. She swore to forfeit her life to buy time. Time that might as well mean nothing.
切なってば愛されてるのね。
Lilith's smile vanished, along with her scorn and mock indifference. The way she bit her lip in irritation didn't seem to suit the one that had inherited the solemn hatred of the ancients.
本当に焼ける。みっともないことに今の私は侮蔑ではなく嫉妬でもってあなたを排除したくてたまらない。
She made a pistol out of her fingers again. Samael realized that another one was coming. If she could at least understand the mechanism behind those abrupt attacks.
ちぎれ飛びなさい。
All she could do was take it head on. Swinging her scythe had no meaning. Even getting close to Lilith felt like an impossible task. But she was still alive. She managed to buy some time. Fuck. She still had no idea how it worked. What kind of attack was it? Bang. It was obvious that Lilith's finger pistol had little to do with it. She was playing around to give her attack some extra flavor. What on earth, then, was killing Samael like this? Her body split apart. She was flung aside. That's all she could understand. Pathetic, she mumbled to herself. She crumpled to the ground like a puppet with its strings cut. Her left arm ripped away and vanished. Her shoulder missing. Even a part of her neck had been torn away. Ugh. And is it always the throat wounds? Ugh. But her feet were still fine. She could still stand. But that was all. Her giant scythe had long fallen, abandoned on the ground.
どの道もう使えないからいいけどさ。腕が落ちたわよ。どうする？諦めるなら頭蓋を潰すわ。諦めないなら次は足。
Lilith gave her an almost sympathetic look.
もういいでしょう。十分時間は稼いだはずよ。安らかに眠ったところで誰も責めやしないわ。
Her sweet words yet again turned to poison, tormenting Samael. She'd bought enough time. Only defeat waited for her after this. Not even in her wildest fantasies could she see herself emerging victorious. She couldn't do anything anymore. She completed her initial goal. Wasn't that enough? Her job here was already finished, so now...
行くわよ。
Bang. Her feet burst apart. Everything from her knees down had vanished. Fuck! But with this, she finally glimpsed the true nature of Lilith's attacks. Not like that knowledge would help her in any way at this point. She fell. Her race on Dare itself, the concept much more vital than blood or internal organs in this world, seemed to slip out through her fingers. She felt as if all-devouring rust had infected her mind. Losing sight of reality, she forgot where she was. And so a question. What was the sole goal of the current Samael?
そうだ。お兄さんに会わなきゃいけない。
She turned her back to Lilith. Unable to stand, she began to crawl instead. She could feel her soul trying to vacate this body. Her will was the only thing still keeping her alive. All of her organs had stopped functioning long ago. Her brain kept ordering and reordering the same action over and over again. She thought she had discarded pain and suffering already, but it seemed that the fact of living itself had turned by now to torment, to a curse. Still, nonetheless, there was the person she had to meet, and so she continued to crawl. She'd crawl into the boat and cross the river all the way to 10,000. It's not...
哀れなものね。
Lilith observed her foe, not with scorn, but with genuine compassion. She seemed to refuse to stop moving. There was no way she could get out of this place alive, yet still she struggled. She couldn't think of the sight as pathetic anymore. Now it felt beautiful. The struggling girl seemed more dazzling than the best paintings of the most gorgeous of angels.
お別れよ、サマエル。
She pointed her finger at the girl's head. She was about to put Samael out of her misery when...
あら?
She lowered her hand. She glanced at the sky. It didn't look any different from before. The black snow continued its dance in the air. Still, the whole place seemed to almost tremble. Sounds of thunder seemed to reach her from afar. What occurred next was worthy of a cataclysm. Each stratum of Tokyo Babel existed in a completely separate space, hence why all of them had their own well-defined ground and sky. They functioned independently, with only the doors to the neighboring stratums and the shortcut to Pandora connecting them together. And that was why it should have been impossible for him to dive down through the stratums of Tokyo Babel like that. A gaping hole leading to the 6th stratum from the 7th appeared in Shinjuku, and so subsequent holes started appearing one after another in all of the strata, a terrible earthquake following in their wake. 6th stratum, 5th stratum, 4th stratum, 3rd stratum, 2nd stratum, 1st stratum, and finally stratum 0. The terrifying beast of the deep seas pierced through these supposedly independently many universes all the way to Cocytus. Leviathan? Occupying the entirety of the River of the Dead with its humongous shape, his mere existence forced gasps from anyone who dared lay their eyes upon him.
ここまで来るなんてね。
Lilith didn't know if she should feel surprised or exasperated. A mighty voice reverberated along the river of wailing, giving birth to violent torrents in the water's dead calm moments before.
面白いわ。そして久しぶりね。いと懐かしき我が息子よ。
Hey, Leviathan! A colossal head emerged from the water.
Ah, 全く久しいな。我が母、古き神よ。
リヴァイアさん。
Leviathan's eyes fixed on Samael. His serene voice fell from the skies.
サマエル、わしが誘導してやる。行け。
ありがとう。
Samael finally finished her long crawl to the boat. Leviathan let out a piercing howl and the river's flow reversed, launching the boat forward to safety like a missile.
彼女はもう先がないというの。いっそここで死なせた方が慈悲というものよ、リヴァイアさん。
それはサマエル自身が決めることだ。さて、リリスだったものよ。話をしようか。互いに積もるものもあろう。
ほら、私はリリスのつもりだけど。
レーゾンデートルが異なれば、性格や口調が変わらずとも、もはやお前は別人だろう。
そうかもしれないわね。名前を変えましょうか。と言っても、やはりリリスを捨てる気はないのよね。
She fell deep in thought for a few moments.
ならば、私の名と私の名を合わせましょう。我が名はティアマット・リリス。最も新しく、最も古き神と。
Tiamat, Lilith! Lilith attached to herself the name of the very oldest of deities, and in that moment she ceased being the Witch of the Night and became God. Okay. Tiamat. In the myths of ancient Babylonia, she was the goddess who created the world and everything therein. Her name meaning bitter water, often used in reference to the sea, she mated with Apsu of her inverse qualities, god of fresh water, and gave birth to all the other gods and goddesses in the Babylonian pantheon. Apsu, however, had a distaste for his children and decided to murder them. Catching wind of his schemes in time, Tiamat, showing no hesitation at all, ordered her children to slay Apsu instead. After Apsu's death, Tiamat grew to be revered as the sole omnipotent mother of the earth. But that too was short-lived. Her children eventually grew wary of her uncontested power and decided to rebel and kill her as well. After drawing her last breath, she fell in the land and turned into a river, and thus the oldest god of the oldest legend of the world turned to dust and disappeared into the annals of history. At least, That was how it was supposed to be.
混沌すら枯れ果てるようなこの呼吸とすでティアマットは永遠と憎んで憎み続けた。
憎むのは勝手だが、それは筋違いというものだろう。ティアマットを打ち滅ぼしたのは貴様の孫マルドゥックのはずではないか。
そうそう、問題はそこなのよ。一般に神話というものはある程度内輪で完結しているものでしょ。私もマルドゥックに打ち果たされている。でも本当は違う。そもそもマルドックなんて神は存在しなかったわ。私たちはただ滅ぼされたのよ。そう、こちらの神様にね。
なんと。
Leviathan lost his words for a moment.
他の神話もどうなのかしらね。案外我らが神に滅ぼされた連中が多いんじゃないかしら。
道理ではあるな。だがしかしティアマットよ、もはや望みは叶ったも同然だろう。
The girl smiled and shook her head.
聞かないわ。一木一草あらゆる存在を死滅させるまでこの私は行動を止めることはない。滅ぼすか滅ぼされるか、殺すか殺されるか、その二択よ、リヴァイアさん。交渉の余地は一切ない。さあ、お互い言いたいことはもうないわよね。
Well, then I guess the proper good end would be to kill you, I guess.
その通りだな。
ならば殺しましょう。お互いの命を削って楽しみましょう。私が世界を滅ぼしてあげる。
ならば貴様の未練、ここで断ち切ろう。わし
Whoops. Leviathan jerked his neck upward in a vigorous display.
我が名はリヴァイアさん。現象混沌の海の覇者として君臨せし者。行くぞティアマットよ。
Well, it was nice knowing you, Leviathan. Lilith welcomed Leviathan's declaration with an elated countenance.
ああ、楽しい楽しい。愛すべき宣戦布告受け取ったわよ。さあ、かかってきなさいな、ムッシュバヘよ。
Cocytus, the icy river of Wayland, began to boil due to being exposed to the power of two ancients. The dragon howled, and God raged. A new legend of a new god had begun weaving itself together. Well, I should have lost my ability to see dreams, yet it seemed I was still seeing one.
やあ、お兄さん大丈夫？
I was probably the furthest one could be from alright. Yeah, this is extremely weird. Is this the world after oh my god, please!
死後の世界って言うなら、私たちはみんな死後の世界にいるんじゃないの？お兄。
God, I guess it worked. In any case, could you answer a question for me?
何？
Who are you?
もう忘れてしまったんだね。
Could you put some clothes on? I'm truly
し
sorry.
ないでいいよ。忘れたなら忘れたまま。
I'm probably gonna...
唐突な質問で困るかもしれないけどさ、お兄さんは愛する人が死んだら後を追う？
I wonder, I don't know. This is the disturbing...
自分を殺そうとしたら殺し返す？世界を滅ぼそうとしたら始末する？ 大
That's...
事な大事な大事な質問だよ、お兄さん。
She chuckled to herself. If it was a serious question, then I suppose I should pay it some thought. My answer.
それでも愛する者を救いたいと思う。世界を滅ぼそうとするなら止めてあげたい。滅ぼす理由を聞きたい。止める理由を聞かせたい。
I can agree with this. Over and over again for as long as it
お
took.
兄さんはやっぱり殺さないんだ。
Nope.
ああ、どうも僕は
She probably thought me ridiculous as she gave me a beaming
お兄
smile.
さん、お兄さんはこのままだと死んじゃうわ。
Yep.
それは一大事だ。
だからね、私をあげる。 私の大切なもの全部お兄さんに捧げるよ。
Huh?
どういうことだ？
She made a smile and pressed her forehead against mine, her face filling the entirety of my vision. Her golden eyes peered deep inside me.
大丈夫だよお兄さん。自分を強く保って自我を失わないで。
She placed her hands on my cheeks. Her eyes looked like those of a loving
一
mother.
つになろう。お兄さんは私は
Well,
お兄さんに。
My thoughts grew fuzzy. I felt as if I'd been enveloped by a thin veil. I was losing my sense of reality.
あいつを救おう。リリスでありながらリリスで亡くなった彼女をなんとかして救っちゃおうよ。
Lilith. I could remember that name, the only proper noun that still seemed to remain undisturbed within my psyche.
ねえ、生きてる？
I remembered someone asking me that. I remembered that question starting everything. Was I alive? Could I raise my chest high and declare that I was truly alive? I couldn't. I was imagined, manufactured, put onto rails that had nothing to do with my will. A being that was supposed to transcend good and evil as an omnipotent god. Living or not living never truly mattered to my upbringing. Indeed. That was why I felt like crying. I felt like I could finally do it. I felt confident I could cry if asked this question one more time. I'm alive. And I could answer it like this. I could declare I was alive with my chest held high, but can we please get away from this? For I was now indisputably filled with unadulterated will to rescue her.
お、思い出したみたいだね、お兄さん。
サマエル、どうして君はここまでしてくれたんだ？
She had no reason to give her life for me. I haven't done anything to warrant such a sacrifice. She smiled and... Oh, God. She covered my lips with hers. Before I had the chance to be surprised, she drew back.
悪魔なら見返りを求めるんだろうけどね。天使は見返りを求めないのさ、お兄さん。
Okay. She made a proud smile.
お兄さんと一緒にいられるだけでいいんだよ。どうしようもないガラクタになる前にお兄さんと出会えただけで。
Okay.
まあ見返りとしては十分じゃない？
Okay then.
僕だって君に出会えてよかった。
さあ、お兄さん。誰でもありながら誰でもない誰かになろう。誰かになって全てを救おうよ。
救えるかな？
できるできないの問題じゃないよね。
Yes, indeed, she was absolutely right. We will do it. We'll pull through. We shall give birth to a miracle and weave a legend. I don't know, we should probably ask Burn Costal before we're allowed to do that.
じゃあ、これでさよならだね。お兄。
さよならだ、サマエル。またいつかどこかで君と会いたい。
もしそういうことが可能だったとしたらね。
Samael's face took on a tint of red as she drew her lips to my ear.
いつかどこかでお兄さんを本当のお兄さんと呼べるただの人間になれますように。
Oh shit. She vanished and I remained. Nay, I was no longer myself. This was no healing or rejuvenation, not some simple regeneration of the body. I fused with her, with an existence other than my own. I become someone else, separated from both mortal and divine worlds. I become an existence that was neither man nor demon nor angel. Beyond all the criterions and common sense of the world, I've turned into a true apocryphal monster to whom rules no longer applied. My heart resumed its motion. My nerve cells came back alive. A fake human, a fake god, and a fake fallen angel. No wonder our bodies had good chemistry. I was a construct of mock copies, an amalgamation of debris. And that was why. That was why I could still stand my ground. For my feelings for Lilith was the only genuine thing I ever had. I stood up and proceeded onwards, never looking back. For now, that was all I had to do.
さあ行こうお兄さん。行っちゃおうよ。そして理不尽へ反逆しよう。
Alright. Those were Samael's last words.
行こ
I didn't know marching onwards could be so easy, and so difficult at the same time. But now I no longer had any doubts. I abandoned excuses and any number of shortcuts to victory. From now on, I'd march onwards, no matter the obstacle.
これは
Cerberus couldn't believe his eyes as he gazed at the existence, Tendao Setsuna, that had emerged from his jaws. The hell was that thing? A bad joke of some sort? On the surface, he did not look any different one bit. His uniform might have been torn in places, dirtier than usual, but that was about it. However, what then was the sensation that made Cerberus shiver like a leaf? If it was fear, he would have long bolted to the horizon. If it was rage, he would have bore his fangs at the man. Was this a kind of veneration? Cerberus didn't know what had happened inside his stomach. What could have possibly occurred there? But he knew one thing. Samael and Tendao Setsuna must have made a great earth-shattering choice.
ケルベロス、僕の過去を聞かせたってか。
戯れに聞いた程度だ。詳しいことは我も知らない。
神となるべくして生まれ、神となるべくして育てられた。そしてそれを放棄して僕は逃げた。
That it wasn't a sin that I was born. That running away was my sole crime.
だから感情を入れたくなどなかった。大将に戦い、大将に救い、大将に死ぬ。それでいいとずっとそう思っている。
今どう思う？
ああ、今は救いたいから救う。ようやくそんな当たり前の考えに至ることができた。
Tears trickled down Setsuna's cheeks. Cerberus uttered a collective sigh with all three of his heads. The concept of utmost simplicity, yet he certainly had to pass through a long path of thorns to reach such an obvious conclusion. He killed and was killed. He died and led others to death. A path full of cries, curses, and despair. That was the story of his life.
救いたい。リリスを救いたいと心からそう思う。憎悪を抱えた彼女の選択を僕は尊重する。やっぱり惚れた女を救いたい。
そう。それが良いな。良いとも。良いな、セツ。
リリスだけじゃない。東京バベルの崩壊に伴いみんなも選択を迫られるだろう。サマイのおかげだろうか。それがなんとなくわかる。
I don't know, I think it would have been pretty neat where if he actually did fuse, like, either his hair color would change or his eye color would change, but I don't know. I guess that's asking too much. Tendao Setsuna considered Cerberus forthright. The young man's expression no longer had a mannequin quality about it. So did he grow stronger? Nay. Depending on who considered him, some might think he was weaker than before. For now, he was only...
救いたいと思う。ケルベロス、僕に力を貸してくれるか。
Just a brave boy who made a choice they knew full well was beyond his power. Realizing this fact, Cerberus let out a hearty laugh from all three of his jaws.
よし。いいだろう、天道刹那。お主、我がセナを預けよう。我はどこへでも飛び、どこ。そう。今より汝と我は主従である。我の乗り手となり、手綱を握れ。我はお主と共に、暁の鉄火、熱血の戦場を駆け巡ろう。
Damn! Okay, not gonna lie, that looks fucking cool! Cerberus lowered his back and Setsuna jumped on with no other words.
行くぞ、ケルベロス。
おう、友。
Cerberus kicked off the ground and bolted into the sky. The two literally rode through high heavens. And so the last gear started to turn. Of a play common to all myths and legends, the absolute end, revelation. Some worlds called it Ragnarok. Some worlds called it Kali Yuga. But in this world it had a name of its own. Armageddon. When forces of good and evil, unable to draw a clear line, would clash and destroy everything there was in the cosmos. Damn. Oh shit, we're going over here? Kukutas Orme couldn't quite tell what exactly had led to this, but even being a relative newcomer to this place, she could still understand. that after Lilith and Tendai Setsuna had left, Pandora had began slowly withering away.
何が起こっているんだろうな。
She didn't know anything. After all, she was an outsider. With Setsuna gone after Lilith, there was nothing Stormy could do in this place anymore.
まあ、嘆いていても仕方ない。気分転換にご飯をちょっと豪華にしてみますか。
Raziel, despite her looks, was quite a glutton, so even after the other two had gone, Stormy could still find some fulfillment in cooking. Maybe she should make ostrich carpaccio today. Its taste, while relatively simple, had that... She cocked her head. The air around her seemed to suddenly grow chilly.
なんだろう。
She left the night duty room and glanced around the corridor. It was empty, and while she felt an odd, repulsive air about it, it didn't seem like there was anything dangerous going around. Or so she thought. Her eyes hurt. An object suddenly appeared before her, as if printed on the inner side of her eyelids. It looked like a gate of some sort, though she had no idea where or what it was for. It was starting to grow worse. Lately, she'd been assaulted by strange visions of gates at least 7 or 8 times a day. Luckily, the pain wasn't that bad, and would always fade away quickly. She tried asking Raziel about it, but the angel locked herself in the library without giving her an answer, leaving Stormy clueless to this day. Now that she thought about it, when was the last time Raziel left the library anyway?
一体何がどうなっているのやら。
Same here.
くぐつ空見くん。
So, Astaroth. She turned around and gulped at the sight before her.
こんにちは。アスタロトさんと
ルキフムスです。
The old man gave her a deep bow.
あ、これはご丁寧に。
Cued by the old man's mannerisms, she too took a bow. Seriously, what was going on here?
何かありました？
ああ、とても重要なことだよ。特に君と俺にとってはね。
She had a very bad feeling about this. She forced a smile and began thinking of ways to escape from the two, but gave up on the idea pretty much right away. After all, her opponents were beings that transcended the common sense of men by a great margin. There was no way she could ever hope to outrun them. She gave up on running away, and fighting was out of the question. In other words, she had no other option but to continue with the conversation.
重要なことですか？なんでしょうね。
人に願いがあり、天使に希望があるように、悪魔である我々もまた欲望が存在する。
はあ。
俺はこの東京バベルを一種の檻に仕立て上げた。檻だよ。飼い主は俺。飼われる側は君たちすべて。
Okay. Little birds?
どういうことですか？わけがわからないです。
Her sixth sense had been sounding alarm bells for a while now. Covering her ears and bolting might have been the best way to deal with the situation after all.
ああ。俺はね、一人の天使から願いを託されたんだ。
天使？
純真で、純朴で、無垢で。それゆえに耐えきれずに壊れて死んだ。
There was something wrong with this.
彼の願いは東京バベルを守ってくれだった。ゆえに俺は東京バベルを守ってきた。それはこれから先も変わらない。そう。俺は守ってきたとも。
She felt that something didn't quite click here, in the worst way possible.
支配者が決して第一階層に立ち入らぬよう気を配る。巡礼者が第7階層まで踏破しないように気を配る。
あれ、待ってくれます？巡礼者が踏破しないようにって。
Astaroth nodded with a smile.
だってそうだろ。巡礼者が踏破してしまえば、東京バベルは用をなさないじゃないか。
She got it. She understood it. She comprehended it. This was the identity of the weird contradiction she'd been sensing. To protect Tokyo Babel, the one who made that request probably wished him to look over those who'd break through the 7th stratum and meet God in the end. To protect Tokyo Babel until the gates of heaven opened again. He didn't direct his wish at the structure or the concept of this purgatory, but the pilgrims that ascended its floors. But Astaroth misunderstood that. He was trying to protect the concept of itself. Tokyo Babel, in essence, was a stage designed for pilgrims to fulfill their divine mission. That system had to be maintained in perfect order.
敵対者としてサマエルを配置し、巡礼者が第4階層付近で必ず破綻するように細工した。
That wasn't the kind of stability the angel wished for.
ずっと手のひらの上で踊らされていた。
いや、俺は君たちを手のひらの上に乗せただけだ。踊るのも、踊りを止めるのも、壊れるのも、君たちが選択したことだ。
Just sophistry.
それでどうしてそんな大事なことを私に？
That was what terrified her most. There was no way that information was for someone in her position to hear. In other words,
だが、この楽園も崩壊の時が訪れたらしい。アダムというコーラスをものともしない怪物が現れたからな。敵対者も存在しない今、彼は天国の門へと到達するだろう。その先に何があるか、何を選ぶのか、そこまではわからないがね。だが東京バベル自体を崩壊させるわけにはいかない。
he was positively out of his mind. Stormy realized that instinctively. The demon lord who pulled the strings of this Pandora in seemingly almost common composure was in truth completely insane.
そこで君の力が必要になってくる。
力？やだな、アスタロトさん。私には力なんか。
She remembered her eyes in the middle of her own sentence. Noticing her grow pale, a wolfish grin flashed across Astaroth's face.
そう、それだよ。君の瞳は断ち切られた未来を見つけることができる唯一の存在だ。
Well.
そんな大したものじゃないですよ。
She lied, of course, for she understood now what those gates in her painful visions were. For what else could they be if not?
迷ったよ。このままこの東京バベルごと心中するか、単独で死ぬか、全員を巻き込んで死ぬか。
He reached out to her. That action alone was enough to paralyze a mere human like Stormy in
そ
terror.
れともこういうのはどうだろう。未来に東京バベルを移管する。
Huh? Transport Tokyo Babel to the future that is yet to see grime and continue their days in monotonic indolence.
秩序を再構築し、人間たちは永遠の巡礼に挑み続ける。それでこそ彼との約束を守れるというものだ。
She thought about saying she didn't, but realizing that might as well mean her death in the situation, she kept her mouth shut. Even if Astaroth forgave her insolence, the other demon lurking behind his back most definitely wouldn't.
さあ、くぐつ空見。俺には君の瞳が必要だ。未来を指し示しなさい。
No, she couldn't.
なるほどね。まったくひでえことを考えたもんだ。
There you are, Belial!
何？
A trident suddenly separated Astaroth and Sormy.
君か。
ないな、俺だぜ。
Hey, bro!
エリアル貴様。黙ってろ、地獄の大宰相。っていうか、そこで怒るの筋違いじゃね？怒っていいのはな、俺の方だろうが。え？
Lucifuge momentarily lost his words at Belial's reprimand. Still, he didn't break his fighting stance. Astaroth considered Belial with cold eyes.
何を怒るのか。
いやいや、おとぼけは今更なしだろ、アスタロト。職権乱用はいつの世もよろしくないぜ。
なるほど、確かにその通り。だがベリアル、言い訳をさせてくれないかね。
させないさ。てめえは破綻した。あのゲテルみたく知りすぎて考えすぎて壊れちまったんだろ。
Pretty much.
俺は壊れてなどないさ。
壊れてるやつはみんなそう言うな。
Only a crazy person would say that.
東京バベルは俺が守らなければならない。今まで、そしてこれからもだ。
Belial looked Astaroth straight in the eyes and let out a heavy sigh. God damn it. It would have been so much easier if the guy was just mad.
ああ、やはりか。お前分かってるな。自分の言葉が矛盾に満ちたものだと理解してなお続けようとしているな。
Astaroth made a compromised smile, seemingly embarrassed by being seen through that easily.
いかにもそうだ。俺とてバカではない。俺のこだわりなど何の意味もないことは知っているさ。
どういうことですか？
Sormi couldn't help tugging on Belial's sleeve.
どういうこともそういうこともだな。こいつはな、まともなんだよ。別に壊れた頭でそういうことを考え実行に移したわけじゃない。
It's technically his race on dare. It was no misunderstanding. Astaroth wasn't as foolish as to not understand the true meaning of his friend's words. He instead willfully chose to misunderstand, for the sake of his friend, for his sake alone.
理性的に思考して論理的に全てを切り捨て覚悟の上で命を失おうとしている。そうだな。
まあその通りだ。俺はね、自分がやったこととやろうとしていること、それらの過程や結果でどれほどの命が失われ世界が滅ぶかなど理解しているさ。
He shrugged.
壊れてしまえばいっそ楽だったの。途中で失敗してしまえば破綻してしまえばこうはならなかったろう。
Everything went so well. Everything went too well, as if some invisible power had been guiding his hand.
なあベリアルよ。理性的で論理的に生きるというのはいざ。
まあな、数千年を生きる俺たちにとってはなおさらだ。
Fair enough.
悪魔という役割を忘れるために俺は論理的にあの天使を騙し排除した。その過程で友となり友として約束を交わした。口頭だ。契約書を交わしたわけではない。しかしどうしてかもし俺が論理的ではないというならばそれだけだ。論理も理性も踏み越えた先に存在した彼との約束。それは俺にとって絶対的だ。理解しがたい衝動の塊。俺はそれに突き動かされていた。
Sormi alone understood the true meaning hidden behind his confession. She understood it. She comprehended it. It was an emotion that everyone had felt at least once. But that might have been the very reason why Astaroth couldn't comprehend it.
だから俺を止めないでくれ。俺はまだ諦めん。必ず東京バベルを再興してみせる。
諦めろアスタロト。未来に東京バベルなんざ必要ないんだ。罪は全て洗い流された。
それでもだ。
それでもか。
The two now knew where they stood. Lucifuge glared at Belial, ready to jump at his throat at any moment. But Astaroth took a step back instead.
構える。もう少し先は抑え込んだ方がいいと思うのだがね。
Damn. Sormi stole a glance behind Astaroth's back. A couple of meters away stood Camiel, his gun pointing at the Demon Lord.
抑えようが抑えまいが、お前の頭を狙うにはこの距離まで近づくしかない。近づいた時点で俺に気づいたのさ。
Lucifuge took a step forward to cover Astaroth's back with his own body. Astaroth made a placid smile.
絶対制御を遵守する構え。そして無価値なるものベリアルか。
降伏してくれるとありがたいな。
命を救ってくれるのかね。
や、確実に撃てるからな。
That didn't sound very nice, Sormi remarked in her mind.
ではこうしよう。我々もジョーカーの切り出し時だ。
Huh? Astaroth snapped his fingers.
なんだ。
出番だ。ウリエル。
Oh no. Oh no. Camille and Belial firmly settled that name. The next moment, a gaping hole tore open in the corridor's floor.
やる。殺してやる。誰も彼も怒りやがって。敵だ。殺してやるぞ。悪魔どもめ。
His teeth chattering, Uriel raved in a display of utter savagery. Camille's voice shook in suppressed rage.
面白い死に損ないを拾ったものでね。いろいろといじくってみたらこのざまというわけだよ。今の彼は世界すべてが敵に回っている。
That's not good.
貴様。
ウリエル、その少女は聖母マリアだ。魔に囚われようとしているぞ。助けなくていいのかな。
Astaroth pointed at... Uh-oh. Kugutsu's sword at me. Undulated joy appeared on Uriel's face. One could even call his smile innocent, like a child's in that moment.
ご無事だったのですね。今を救い出します聖母マリアよ。なんという奇跡でしょう。なんという喜びでしょうか。
Oh shit. A shudder ran down Sorley's spine. Abominable, repellent obsession tinted the hope for salvation reflected in the angel's eyes.
ウリエル、違う。彼女は聖母などでは。邪魔だってするな。
Uh-oh. Uriel's hands lit up in azure flames. Camille, caught in a blast, lost his balance and toppled back. Joy warping his features, Uriel darted through the corridor.
あなたがただいるだけで世界は光に満ちる。あなたさえいてくれれば。
こいつは厄介。逃げろ空見。お前のことを完全にマリアだと思い込まされている。
逃げるって言ったって。
やろう。
ベリアル、感動の再会を邪魔してはいけない。
Astaroth grabbed hold of the demon jurist, and then he turned to face another direction.
君もだ、ラジエル。
Crap. Raziel appeared out of thin air, her hand pointed at Astaroth. Clicking her tongue, she stole a glance at Sormi. Uriel kneeled in front of the girl, caressing her hand with tears in his eyes. Camille was already on his feet again, but he could no longer do anything rash with the two being this close to each other now.
マリアよ、お愛しとうございました。あなたさえいてくれれば大聖人の復活はなる。
Jesus.
再びあの平和を取り戻すことも決して夢ではない。叶った。僕の願いは叶った。
He clung to her, weeping. The most curious display of tender madness.
彼の目にはもう現実は見えていない。見ているのはかつてのアルカディアだけだろうさ。
スタート。貴様。貴様。
Astaroth gave a deep bow.
それでは一足お先に失礼する。ルキフグス。
しまっ。了解いたしました我が主リュクス・フィギョ。このクソジジイが。
Camille's bullet got swallowed by the darkness, hitting nothing. Raziel lunged forward, but unable to catch up with Uriel, crashed into the corridor's wall. Belial split the darkness in half with a swing of his trident. The Lucifuge, Astaroth, and Uriel seemed to have already escaped through it.
音も闇に溶かして消す。あのじいさんも大概デタラメだな。
No shit.
配下に命令させてすぐに周囲一帯を捜索する。ベリアル、お前はアスタロトに付き従っていた連中を抑えてくれるか。
ああ、めんどっちいな。くそ、やらなきゃしゃあねえか。
にしてもだ、アスタロトが気になることを言ってたな。クグツソラミだけが
未来の世界への扉を見つける唯一の存在だとかなんとか。
未来、空見の持つゲテルの瞳、あれが未来への鍵なのかな。
Raziel cocked her head to the side. It seemed to ring a bell to Belial and Camiel as the two took a deep, collective sigh.
ああ、もしそれが本当だとしたらようやく理解できた。この世界は未来とつながっていない。
Past, present, future. Even the strangest of multiverse worlds had to obey the laws of time. One could travel through time to experience the future or the past if he had the necessary powers, but he would still be governed by the linearity of time. Even if he changed the past, it would still flow to the present, which in turn would continue flowing to the future. But what if someone severed the present from the past and future?
昨日と同じ今日、今日と同じ明日。それが文字通りの真実になっている。
未来が訪れない世界は滅びるかとどまるかの二択しかない。くぐつ空見だけがこの現実と未来をつなぐ可能性を秘めているということだな。
Camiel gave a heavy sigh.
まあ、どうでもいいといえばどうでもいい。
おい。
Raziel made a smile.
そういうことは私にとってあまり関係ない。救いたいから救う。友達だから、まあちょっと死ぬ気で頑張って救う。というわけで、私は独自行動を取らせてもらう。空見を探す。ウリエルの手から救い出す。
まあ、それでもいいさ。空見を助けて未来の扉を開く。話。
わかった。
She turned on her heels and was about to fly away when Camiel suddenly stopped her.
待て待て。居場所がどこかわかるのか？
当てはない。だが、探さないでとどまるわけにもいかないだろ
う。ウリエルに遭遇したら、俺を呼べ。俺が決着をつける。
了解。じゃあ、ちょっと行ってくる。
She waved goodbye to them and flew away. Camiel and Belial took another collective
あ
sigh.
いつののんきさを見ていると、切迫していた自分がバカらしくなるな。
同意見だ。それじゃ俺も行くわ。パンドラもこれにて閉鎖か。
そうだろうな。終わってみればここもありきたりの日常だった。
Yep.
おいおい、まだ終わってないからな。空見の嬢ちゃんを助けてウリエルをぶっ飛ばして未来への扉を開いて新しい世界に行く。そこまでやって初めて終わったと言えるだろうよ。
少し気が抜けたらしい。すまんな。
ま、肩の力が抜けるぐらいがちょうどいいだろうさ。じゃあ、俺も行くぜ。
Belial disappeared into the corridor, leaving Camiel alone. The Grand Angel silently considered the palm of his right hand.
幕を引くのは俺であるべきだろうな。
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm gonna end it right there. Time-wise. Maybe choose the two was a bad end. Huh. Prelude to Destruction. Pretty sure that's a Dragon Ball Xenoverse technique. But that is where I'm going to end it. I seem to be pretty emotionless throughout this whole episode, honestly. Maybe Tokyo Babel's kind of numbed me a little bit. Kind of similar to how Umineko numbed me to the death and all blah, blah, blah. To an extent. But, not entirely sure what to do now. Wonder how much longer we actually have left on this. Then again, wonder how many pathways I've actually got opened up with all these different choices. I think. I mean, obviously this one over here must have been a split, I think. Or maybe this one. I don't know. These two must have had two completely different outcomes, depending on my answer. But, that's what I'm going to end it. So, if you guys like this, be sure to let me know. I do wonder what's going to happen next. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not really that big of a fan of Lilith, I guess. Again, Raziel was my favorite.